HOA Karen burned trash in the park, arrested and fined $180,000. The park was our sanctuary, a green haven where kids chased fireflies and old folks swapped stories on creaky benches. But that piece shattered the day Karen decided she was above the rules. Her smug grin as she lit the match still haunts me. I'm Javier, a landscaper who's tended this park for a decade. I know every tree, every blade of grass, and every face that passes through. This place isn't just my job, it's my home. So when Karen, the HOA's self-appointed enforcer, rolled up with her SUV packed with trash bags, I knew trouble was brewing. She'd been a thorn in everyone's side since she moved into the gated community across the street, always barking about standards while breaking every rule she didn't like. Last week, she'd screamed at Mrs. Chen for planting tulips too close to the sidewalk. Now, she was dumping her garbage in our park. "Karen, you can't do that," I called out, wiping sweat from my brow as I pushed a wheelbarrow of mulch. The community dumpster was a block away, but Karen never walked anywhere she didn't have to. She didn't even look at me. "This park's a mess anyway," she snapped, tossing another bag onto the pile. "I'm just cleaning up my property. You should thank me." Her voice dripped with that condescending tone she used at HOA meetings, the one that made everyone clench their fists. I stepped closer, trying to keep my cool. "There's a recycling center for that. You're littering public property." She laughed a sharp, grating sound and pulled out a lighter. "Littering. I'm handling it." Before I could react, she flicked the lighter and set the pile ablaze. Flames licked up the plastic bags, sending thick, toxic smoke curling into the air. My heart sank as the fire spread, catching the dry grass and creeping toward a nearby bench. "Karen, stop," I shouted, grabbing a rake to beat back the flames. But she just stood there, hands on her hips, like she'd solved world hunger. The acrid stench burned my throat, and I could hear kids coughing from the playground. Neighbors started gathering, phones out, recording the disaster. Mrs. Chen, still in her gardening apron, looked horrified. "That's our park," she yelled. Karen spun on her. "Your park, it's an eyesore. I'm doing you all a favor." Her voice was louder now, shrill as if volume could make her right. The fire roared, blackening the bench's wooden slats and warping its metal frame. I sprinted to the park's water spigot, dragging a hose, but the flames were faster. By the time I got water on it, half the clearing was scorched, and the air was thick with ash. That's when Marcus showed up. He was a quiet guy, a single dad who'd moved here to give his daughter, Lila, a safe place to play. I'd seen him at the park every weekend, sketching while Lila swung on the tires. He wasn't one to raise his voice, but today his eyes burned with something I'd never seen. "You did this?" he asked Karen, his voice low but shaking. Lila clung to his leg, her small face streaked with tears from the smoke. Karen rolled her eyes. "It's just trash. Relax." Marcus stepped forward, his sketch pad trembling in his hand. "That bench," he said, pointing to the charred wreck, "was where I proposed to my wife. She died 2 years ago. Lila sits there to feel close to her." His words hit like a punch. The crowd went silent. Even Karen flinched, but only for a second. "Well, maybe you should have kept it cleaner," she muttered, doubling down. The crowd gasped. Mrs. Chen covered her mouth, and I felt my blood boil. Marcus's jaw tightened, but he didn't swing. He just held Lila closer and turned away, like Karen wasn't worth his breath. The tension kept building over the next few days. Word spread fast. Karen's fire wasn't just a tantrum, it was a crime. The park was public property, maintained by taxpayer money, and her stunt had caused thousands in damage. Neighbors started a group chat, sharing photos of the blackened grass and ruined bench. Someone posted a video of Karen lighting the fire, her smug face illuminated by the flames. The internet did what it does best: it exploded. HOA Karen became a local hashtag, and people I'd never met were calling for justice. But Karen didn't back down. She stormed into the next HOA meeting, claiming she was the victim. I was protecting property values, she insisted, slamming her hand on the table. That park was a dump. The room erupted in shouts. Mrs. Chen stood up, her voice shaking but firm. You burned our park. Karen, you don't get to play hero. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. During the meeting, a wiry old man in a flannel shirt slipped in late, clutching a folder. It was Mr. Hargrove, the park's unofficial historian, who'd been quietly documenting its history for decades. He rarely spoke, so when he stood, everyone hushed. Karen, he said, his voice gravelly, that bench you burned. It wasn't just any bench. It was dedicated to the town's founder, carved from oak planted by his family in 1890. He held up yellowed photos of the bench's dedication ceremony, a crowd of smiling faces from generations ago. It was a historic landmark. You destroyed a piece of our town's soul. The room went dead silent. Karen's face paled, but she still tried to argue. It was old, it needed replacing. Her voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw her confidence waver. Mr. Hargrove just shook his head and sat down, leaving her words to rot in the air. The conflict hit its peak when the park ranger, Officer Daniels, showed up at Karen's doorstep with a citation. I was there, fixing a flower bed nearby, and saw it all. Daniels was calm but unyielding, his badge glinting in the sun. Ma'am, you're being charged with arson, destruction of public property, and violating environmental codes, he said, handing her a stack of papers. The fine's $180,000, and you're under arrest? Karen lost it. This is outrageous, she screamed, her voice echoing down the street. I'm a homeowner, I have rights. Neighbors watch from their porches, some filming, others shaking their heads. Daniels didn't flinch. He cuffed her hands as she ranted, her SUV still parked crookedly in her driveway, a symbol of her entitlement. The crowd didn't cheer, they just watched, a mix of relief and disgust on their faces. As they led her to the patrol car, I caught her eye. For a split second, she looked at me not with anger, but with something like fear. It was gone as fast as it came, replaced by her usual scowl. But I'd seen it. Karen wasn't untouchable anymore. The aftermath was bittersweet. The park's scars would take months to heal. The bench was gone, its history reduced to ash. But the community rallied. Marcus organized a fundraiser to restore the park, and Lila drew a picture of the new bench she wanted, one with a plaque for her mom. Mrs. Chen planted a new row of tulips, brighter than ever. Even Mr. Hargrove chipped in, donating his photos to a park memorial display. Karen's trial was quick. She pleaded guilty to lesser charges, but the $180,000 fine hit hard. Rumor had it she had to sell her SUV to cover part of it. The HOA stripped her of her board position, and her neighbors stopped speaking to her. She still lives across the street, but her curtains stay drawn now. The park's alive again, with kids laughing and dogs chasing frisbees. But every time I pass the spot where the bench used to be, I feel a pang. It's not just about the bench, it's about what Karen took from us, and what we took back. What do you think, was the fine too harsh? Or did Karen get what she deserved? Share your thoughts, I'm curious to hear.